Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button right out of the gate. I would really appreciate it, and subscribe. Today's video is going to be a shortened version. Last night I did a live stream and went over this PDF file that the Robeson County Sheriff's Department put out. And I think it's a very comprehensive document, and I think if we go over it, it might squash some of the rumors and theories out there. Now, I know that there are people that are still trying to find a way of how perhaps JP had somebody else, or even JP himself, there was somebody else driving his truck in the shots that we'll be seeing here in a minute. We do know that she was being tracked at various times, so people are wondering if somehow on that day, even though she chose a random park on her phone, she said national parks, and it turns out that the park that she went to showed up on the Lumbar River State Park. All right, so she just did a search on her phone for national parks, and it came up with that park, and she went there. Now, how would somebody else know that she was there? Well, maybe she was tracked. She obviously didn't plan on meeting somebody there, because it was a randomly chosen park and she wasn't really that far away from it at the time. Now, I guess you can make any argument you want and say, oh yeah, she called somebody on the drive too, but I think law enforcement would have seen that on her phone and have used that to add to their investigation. You would also have to say that somebody held her at gunpoint and forced her to sound really calm, collective, with resolve, the way she sounded on the 911 call. So let's go over the PDF file from the Robeson County Sheriff's Department, Bernice Wilkins. All right, we'll just go one at a time. At 2:54 p.m., April 27, 2024, a 911 call made from 843-655-5242 was made. Mica Miller asked if her phone could be located and then threatened suicide. Mica hung up the phone before further information could be obtained by the telecommunicator. The telecommunicator attempted to call Mica back multiple times and was unable to make contact with her. The telecommunicator utilized rapid SOS to locate Mica. Now let's play the 911 call.
Robeson County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
A national park.
What's the phone number you're calling me from?
843-655-5242.
Where's the park located at?
In Bear Bluff.
Let's see.
I have my location on, I think, on my phone.
I boosted up the audio in some of the really quiet spots, so it might sound a little bit fuzzier than the rest.
Find my phone is on. I just did my location.
Okay, I'm showing, hold on one second. I don't think you are in Robeson County.
And then she finds out she is.
At the Lumbar River State Park?
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay.
And then she realized that was the national park that she went to after the search.
Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, ma'am. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Let me make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
And it was right at this point where she hung up her phone because she was committed. Now, the 911 operator is getting some flack because she didn't immediately say something different. I understand that part. Like, she should have maybe right after that said, hey, there's people that really care about you, instead of caring about the location. But, I mean, nobody could predict it. She only had seconds because she hung up the phone, and then she tried calling her back many other times. You could also tell the 911 operator was very affected emotionally by what she had just heard. And then at 3:03 p.m., Robeson County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to the Lumbar River State Park at 2819 Princess Avenue Road in Orem, North Carolina, in reference to a well-being check and to attempt to locate Mica. Rapid SOS system used by Robeson County Communications to locate a 911 caller's location and other information. The following information was obtained. Subscriber information, Mica Miller, 1281 Princess Anne Road. And that location on a map is right here. I typed in they also gave the foot, or actually I guess you could say degrees, minutes, seconds. And it's right here. And that's just right there in the so I guess there's like a slough. There's an opening that kind of goes back into there. There's some water. It's hard to see. I wonder if we change the date, maybe we can go through time and see if we can find something a little. Yeah, see, it looks like maybe there's a waterway right in there, a little slough where you go back, and maybe that's where she was found, right back in there. And then at 3:05 p.m., contact made with Lumbar River State Park superintendent. So just like 10, 15 minutes later, they're calling and getting a hold of the Lumbar River State Park superintendent. Then at 3:20 p.m., deputies request phone ping. At 3:31 p.m., deputies arrive at Lumbar River State Park and begin search with State Park rangers. At 3:33 p.m., Robeson County Sheriff's Office Aviation Division Air 3 SUAV dispatched to Lumbar River State Park. At 3:42 p.m., telecommunication contacted Verizon to request updated location ping. At 3:50 p.m., detectives with Air 3 SUAV arrived at Lumbar River State Park. At 3:42 p.m., detectives located a black Honda Civic in the parking lot of the Lumbar River State Park with South Carolina registration. The plate number was 301 AKH. Robeson County Communications confirmed the vehicle to be registered to Mica Miller. Detectives looked inside the car and observed a black Sig Sauer gun case in the passenger seat and a box of ammunition in the center console of the vehicle. This information was relayed to deputies and park rangers actively searching the park. At 3:45 p.m., detectives deployed Air 3 SUAV to conduct an aerial search of the area. While conducting an aerial search, detectives were approached by an individual who stated that he had found a bag while fishing with an ID inside belonging to Mica Miller. Detectives took possession of the bag. The individual stated he heard crying while he was fishing, then a gunshot. The individual stated he went further into the slough where he located the bag about 2 feet from the water's edge. And the individual posted their account on Facebook. I'll tell you who could or maybe could have stopped this from happening to this godly, beautiful young lady. Now I'm having to live with the regret of at least going in and checking on her to see if anyone else was involved. Let me explain, because it's killing me, people. I was in my boat fishing, and I went up into a lake off the river. When I got to the back of the lake, I heard a faint crying, not loud. You're wondering, could I see anyone? I couldn't because trees were blocking my view, but I really feel now that she could see me. So I just kept fishing, and then maybe 2 minutes I heard a gunshot. I said, "Oh my God, no, Lord, don't let it be." So there was just enough water going through the woods to where I could float my boat through. As I was looking, I saw a little tote pack and cell phone and glasses were out of the bag, so I picked up her belongings, walked around to see if I could see anything. I didn't, and I got really nervous, put belongings in the boat, went to landing, loaded my boat up, and I was leaving. I saw that the laws were there, told them what happened. So that matches the statement that the individual stated he heard crying while he was fishing, then a gunshot. At 4:23 p.m., an individual contacted Robeson County Communications 911 and advised he had located a body in the water. The individual had been fishing in his kayak when he located the body in the river. Now, I don't know if this is the same person, it doesn't seem like it, that found the stuff on the bank. Searching, deputies and state park rangers went to the individual's location and confirmed the information given. The area was then secured for investigation. At 5:30 p.m., Chief of Detectives for Robeson County Sheriff's Office arrived at incident location. At 5:54 p.m., detectives, along with Robeson County Sheriff's Office CSI technicians, arrived at the incident location. Medical examiner was contacted and requested to come to incident location. CSI technician photographed the area of investigation to include the vehicle, belongings to Mica Miller. Items of evidence were collected from the incident location and from the vehicle of Mica Miller. At 7:11 p.m., a Sig Sauer 9mm firearm is located in the water, and the serial number was 66F501887, and here it is right here in the image. Located inside Mica Miller's vehicle, sales receipt from Dick's Pawn Shop at 1852 Mr. Joe White Avenue in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We'll show all these on the map in a minute. And that was on April 27th at 12:32 p.m. The sale receipt from 41 Grocery at 4135 South Highway 41 in Mullen, South Carolina on Saturday, April 27th, 2024 at 1:33 p.m. Robeson County detectives investigated Mica Miller's movements on the day of Saturday, April 27, 2024. The movements shown here are substantiated with security camera footage, which is date and time stamped. So this is at 2323 Margarita Drive, Unit 513, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 29577, Saturday, April 27, 2024 at 10:13 a.m. So this is obviously her leaving her apartment. Now, if we go back out, go back down to Myrtle Beach. Now, this is where she lives right here in these apartments. And there's even a street view here. I think this is even the correct unit. Can't be 100% certain, but this is where it seems to, I guess we have the numbers, 2323, there you go. So I think that's the same, right? There it is, 2323. So she lives right inside here, perhaps even on that bottom level it looked like, and probably right around here to the right. If we take a look, there's the stairs going up, so it's probably, if the stairs are going up on her right hand side, that means she's likely in one of these left-hand units back here. So she was leaving the house at 10:13 a.m. in this image right here. And the parking lot's out there to the right. Then she comes back at 11. So she's gone for about 47 minutes. She comes back and goes into her apartment. Then at 11:38, she's obviously changed clothes, put her hair up in a ponytail here, and is leaving her apartment at 11:38. And this gives you sort of the direction and drive that they believe she took from her apartment. She makes her way to 1852 Mr. Joe White Avenue, which is the pawn shop. And when we take a look at the map, let's go up in the air from here. The pawn shop is right there. And I believe her vehicle is parked in one of these stalls right over here. And we'll see that in a second. Now here is Mica Miller's cell phone search history. So this is Mica Miller's cell phone search history, and Dick's Pawn Superstore is located on there at 1852 Mr. Joe White Avenue. Now here is a shot from the surveillance camera at the store. Now you can see right here, here's the red sort of awning where you enter, and then right down here inside that circle, you can barely see her, but that's her feet right there walking, and that's her vehicle parked right there. Now what would this look like on Google Earth is just like this. You could rotate it around, and it was kind of filmed from about this location. That means her car's parked right in this area, and she walks into the pawn shop. And here she is entering the pawn shop. It looks like at that point her hair is still back, and she has the glasses on her head that she was wearing when she exited her apartment. And this is at 12:12. And then inside the store, she's obviously looking and searching for an item. It looks like in this one, she may even have the Sig Sauer in her hand. I can't really tell at that point, but like testing it, getting a feel for it. The guy's standing right here. And in this one, it looks like she might be just waiting for the approval for the gun. And then she finally got it in this one. And that's at 12:13. You know, in the 12:13 time frame. And then she exits at 12:34. And that's her car right there leaving. It might be zoomed in, or this might even be a different camera, but she's about to exit at 12:34 p.m. Dick's Pawn Shop East, 1852 Mr. Joe White Avenue, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, to 41 Grocery and Grill, 4135 South Carolina 41, Millen, South Carolina. Now it says 54 minutes, but people can drive faster. This is just what Google Maps says. I've done this exact same thing before when presenting. You see what Google Maps give you, but the real time, most people don't drive when it's 30, they drive 30. They drive 35, 36, 37 miles an hour, maybe 40, and they're there like in 47 minutes or something. Okay, so that's what they're saying to get to this grocery store. Now the grocery store, I'll show you that location here in a minute. Now this is a, I guess, Flock Safety License Plate Detection. It picked up her license plate reader, and the location is right down here in decimal format. If we go up to Google Earth, put that in, hit enter, it'll take you right to where it was spotted on a reader. And I already had a pin in this location, but it's right down on this highway, and this is 106 right in this area right here, just driving by. Then 41 Grocery and Grill, and that's at 127. So 106 right here, 106 and 3 seconds, and 127 at the gas station / Grocery and Grill. There's a pump right there. And let's go to Google Earth and show that. That's up here. And we go down to Street View. And look, and there's likely a camera on this sign right there that's filming the same store. You can see the pump right there, the shape of the building, it's all correct. The camera's just off to the right there. And that's at 127. And the driving from there to the Lumber River State Park is 41 minutes, but again, you could probably do that in 30, 35 minutes. Mica Miller's cell phone search history. She typed in national parks near me, and it just came up with the closest one was Lumber River State Park. So the choice of the park was random. So somebody would have had to know that she was going there. Now, a lot of people, if you believe that she was still being tracked and she had a tracking device on her car, even then, that person wouldn't need to know that they were going there. They could follow her to the park and track where she was going. Now here is where her vehicle was located at the park. Lumber River State Park, 2819 Princess Anne Road, Orem, North Carolina. Now look over here. There's this little path with a curve, and it goes around like that. And you can see the grassy area right in this location on the left, and it does the same thing on the other side, so it kind of makes like a an eye sideways. And if you go to Google Earth here, and in that parking lot, her vehicle was found in this exact stall, because as you turn, there's a little path that curves right there, and she was parked in this stall at the park. And perhaps that's where she was sitting when she made the 911 call. Although you would think she would have made the 911 call from inside of here so that nobody would have to search for her. So that would make more sense that she made the call right in this area back here. Either way, they would have been able to locate her since her phone was with her and her GPS location was on. Lumbar River State Park, 2819 Princess Anne Road, Orem, North Carolina. Here is the 6-hour gun case, and here's it open. John Paul Miller location. The investigation revealed on Friday, April 26, 2024, John Paul Miller traveled to Charleston, South Carolina for a sporting event. This information was substantiated by eyewitnesses. License plate readers identified John Paul Miller's truck traveling towards Charleston, South Carolina. Eyewitness statement obtained by detectives confirmed John Paul Miller stayed overnight in the Charleston, South Carolina area. License plate reader identified John Paul Miller returning to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Miller's truck was last captured by license plate reader on Highway 17 bypass in Horry County in South Carolina at 2:22 p.m. on Saturday, April 27, 2024. While traveling to and from Charleston, South Carolina, John Paul Miller was accompanied by other individuals. John Paul Miller's location on Friday, April 26, 2024. And they give you the GPS locations down here. This is at 101. This is at 111. And those are on the 26th. Now these ones are all on the 27th, the following day, the same day that Mica Miller took her own life. This is at 133, 145, 157, and this is at 214 and 222. Now I'll show you on the map. I've already put pins on those locations. So let's go down here. All right, so this is 101 on the 26th. Then right over here is going to be 111 on the 26th. Right there. So he's heading in that direction on the 26th. And we also know that she took her own life on the 27th. So, you know, this car is driving away from Myrtle Beach at this time on the 26th. And then on the 27th at 1:33, the vehicle is right here heading back towards Myrtle Beach. That's at 1:33. Then 1:45, the vehicle is right in this location, heading back towards Myrtle Beach. Then at 1:57, it's in this location, heading back to Myrtle Beach. Then at 2:14, the vehicle is in this location, heading back towards Myrtle Beach. And there's witnesses that say that John Paul Miller is in the vehicle. And then at 2:22, the vehicle is right here. Now, if you take a look at that, and then you realize the amount of time that it would actually take to get to that park, there's no way that any individual, it was 2:54 when the 911 call was made, so you'd have to be driving like, 150 miles an hour to be able to get there. So whoever was driving that pickup truck did not make it to that park. All right. Now, if you believe in a conspiracy here, that's where you might say something like, okay, he wasn't driving the car. He got a whole bunch of people to church to say that they were with him, and people at the soccer game and everybody around out there, apparently that's where he went, a soccer game. They would all have to say that they saw him, but they didn't see him. Or maybe he went to the soccer game, but he wasn't the one. He went back late at night that night in a different vehicle, so they don't know who he is. The truck was driven back by somebody else, so it's a big, huge conspiracy. And then somehow, miraculously, she purchased a Sig Sauer gun, and at a pawn shop. You know, you could argue, okay, she knew she was going to meet up with John Paul at the park, so she bought a Sig Sauer for protection. And then you say that when she got to the park, he somehow turned the tables on her and put a gun on her and had her word things calmly and quietly. Why wouldn't she just tell the 911 operator, I'm being held at gunpoint by John Paul? I mean, that would have ensured an arrest of him at some point in the future. But she didn't say that. She literally just was on the 911 call stating that, you know, she was going to take her own life. She wanted to give out her location so that family members could find her. And she ended the call quickly, apparently, you know, was crying, and then took her own life by a pond in the, you know, at that park at Lumbar River State Park. And that was their presentation, basically showing where John Paul was and, you know, where Mica was. And it shows that if you believe that John Paul is in that pickup truck, that he could not have been at the park. I believe that John Paul Miller is culpable in the death of Mica Miller because I believe he pushed her to her death. He placed tracking devices on her vehicle. He put deflation devices on her vehicle. He runs a church where he degraded her and trashed her endlessly to his flock, if you will. And you know what? Another sad thing is, where were these people in this church? I mean, they all knew what was going on. How come nobody came forward at some point? You know, that entire church should have came forward and supported Mica, given what they were seeing in there. I mean, it was absolutely, it's unreal, all right? But I think that he is responsible for creating the atmosphere that made Mica Miller feel like there was no out, and she ended up taking her own life, which is absolutely sad and disgusting, his behavior towards her. But I can't see a really rational way in this case where John Paul Miller is the killer, you know, that he actually killed Mica Miller. That's hard to see at this point given the facts of the case. You know, we see a lot of conspiracy theories online. People are saying, oh, look, she's not even, her necklace isn't right, her hands are, it's all AI, and it's absolute garbage, people. When you zoom in on grainy video, it gets worse and worse and worse as you zoom in. If you have 4K video, you can zoom in and not lose quality for a while as you're zooming in. But if you're zooming in on something that's already pixelated, it turns into absolute nonsensical garbage. And I know this because I've been doing this for a long time. It's just the reality. Every case there is, when there's video and images and surveillance, people zoom in to create content so that you're going to be really interested in little tiny pixels and start claiming different things, and people who want to believe will start seeing those very same things, okay? So I'm going to continue to do updates on this case, on the behavior of John Paul Miller, because I think he systematically tortured Mica Miller mentally and perhaps even physically, according to Mica Miller, in the past, leading to her doing what she did. She had just filed for divorce, but it probably was apparent to her that he was never going to give up. And I think there must have been some sort of a communication between them, perhaps even just verbally, that there's no evidence of it, that perhaps it was the straw that broke the camel's back. All right, everybody, I hope this clarified and showed you all the different locations and what the Robeson County Sheriff's Department put out there. If you think that there's a really viable theory regarding an alternate perhaps outcome of what actually happened in your mind, put it in the comment section. But don't start talking about pixels and crap like that, because then you're trying to make it seem like Mica Miller didn't really exist in those images and somebody put her there. I mean, come on, you guys. That's ludicrous, all right? So thank you all very much for watching. And if you could hit that like button and Definitely leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think about this case. And again, thanks for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.